What is happening, Blades? Welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am Jimmy. Thank you for coming back to us. Very much appreciated. Wasn't sure everybody was gonna after our latest video. But before we get into that, we are the Blades Ramble, proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. Thank you to them for their continued support. If you are a growing business and you want to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. So I want to just briefly touch on this because I think it's important that I keep communicating with you about how I'm thinking about things as well as just what's going on. First things first, I am not an experienced broadcaster. I'm not sort of educated in how to appeal to more people or how to get views or how to bring more people in. So I try stuff but that's always with genuine intentions. So last night I put out a first time we've done it, Ramblers Roundtable. So I got some of our Ramblers together who support the channel. They're in our WhatsApp group and they're often giving me ideas on content and things of that nature. And some, obviously, after the absolute tonking we took last weekend, and I won't mention the number, the conversations we were having, we were split. I believe it's time for a change. Others believe that Eki should be given a chance short term. Others believe Eki should be given a chance long term. And so I thought that's going to be a really interesting debate because a lot of the fans will be having the same sort of discussions either amongst themselves or thoughts in terms of, I'm not quite sure where I sit on it. And hearing people's different views on it will potentially open up, oh, well, I'd never thought of it that way. Or actually, Jimmy's going in a bit strong there. I don't agree with him. Whatever it might be. Well, did that open up the floodgates? And listen, there's been a lot of positive communication from that. Loads of positive comments. Loads of, we love this. It's some of the best content you've ever put out. But it's also, because it's such a sensitive topic, and I understand this, and I suppose it's still a learning curve to a degree for me, but the abuse, some of the abuse I got was unexpected, really. I mean, it ranged from me having a face for radio, which I can't know anything about, I'm afraid, to and you know, this channel is almost as ridiculous as your club. Obviously, they're not Blades. We're not bothered about what they think anyway. Although everybody is welcome here, we want to be inclusive, but we don't want to encourage abuse. Right the way through to this is purely a clickbait title for more views. And look, let me pull back the curtain. I want more subscribers. I want more views. I want the channel to be more successful. But I will never, and I'm quite insulted when people suggest otherwise, I will never put out a title out there or give a false opinion just to try and stir a reaction. I want a discussion. And it goes back to a little bit like what I was discussing with Rob Staten, really, when he came on the channel. And he has a similar sort of outlook when they're looking at Radio Sheffield and Football 11 and things like that to put out. Of course, we want debate, and I want to create interesting content. But I'm insulted if people think that I am creating false narrative. So Jimmy don't really want Eki out, or whatever it might be, or it's an extreme view to try and get a harsh opinion. And I probably, if I had been trained in media or whatever, then you're not supposed to call these things out, apparently. But I have always said I will come on and be honest with you, and I don't want this to encourage any more. But if it does, it does, and I'll learn from it. But that's the way I'm feeling in terms of, if that's the way you think this channel is and you think that's what we're about, it's not for you. This is not the place for you, because there'll be some weeks where there's no news and not an awful lot to talk about. But there'll also be other weeks where you get tonked by a certain number and it creates a certain emotion within the fan base and they want to talk about it. And some may overreact and some may think I did, and that's absolutely fine. You can think that. And others may think, yeah, you're right. You're right. A change is needed. You can't recover from that sort of result. I just wanted to get that out of the way early doors because it interests me how people react to stuff. And I lost subscribers. And obviously we're trying our best to get to 5K before Christmas Day, because I think when you have more subscribers, you have more opportunities. And I think we will have the chance to get more guests on. It doesn't necessarily mean more revenue or anything like that. So I'm not chasing the dollar. I'm not chasing the clicks. What I'm wanting is better content and more options for content and things of that nature. So whether we get there or we don't, obviously we're trying our best to absolutely do that. That's why we've done a video every day in September. And we're nearly there now because it has been a tow. I'm not going to lie to you. But there'll be some changes in the channel going forward. I think this month has shown me, and I've learned an awful lot. And we'll see where we go from here. But again, this is a platform where I can come on and just be open and honest with you. And I wanted to do that today because I wanted to do that like I do generally. I think it's only right that I do and have these open conversations where you can tell me if you think I'm wrong. That's absolutely fine. But just, can we keep it friendly? Because I don't mind having a conversation with anybody, even if you disagree. We had one in our Ramblers chat where I thought somebody went a bit far in terms of disagreeing with me. But, you know, we talked about it and we were respectful, and it's fine. You move on, don't you? We don't mean anything personal by it. We just have a difference of opinion. So anyway, having said all of that, I'm giving you an early West Ham preview. And to be honest, I thought about, because I'm fortunate enough to have started to make a few not a lot, a few connections with other fan channels. And I hope that can only grow going forward. So I had a chance potentially to get a West Ham fan on today. And obviously it's tight turnarounds, not just with work, but we're doing a daily ramble and stuff. It's not always been easy to sort of tie these things up and get things done in a timely manner. But that wasn't the reason I haven't done it today. It's largely because of the importance of the game. And I don't think it's one to necessarily break down and tactically sort of scrutinize. I think for me, it's about what's in the game, and it's about how important the game is. And if you listen to our stream last night, some will say that Ecky's only got this game. This is it. If we turn up on the day and put in a similar performance or anywhere near as bad, and we get beat quite well, I think, whether you agree with it being the right decision or not, I think what will happen is Ecky will get sacked. If we get done 3 or 4, I think he's gone. If we turn up and give what we know to be a Blades performance, a proper United showing, where in our darkest times and in the biggest, in the face of adversity, we show up and we give it everything that we've got, and we fight for the shirt and nick a point, or can you even imagine grab a 1-0er, then I think he's sort of giving himself a shot in the arm and a chance to recover from what is the worst result in the club's history. So I'm really keen to know what your score predictions are for the game. Firstly, not what you maybe both, what you think and what you hope. Obviously, we all want 3 points, but what do you actually think is going to happen? And I'm also going to ask you, what's your team? So I think this is really interesting today, and for a number of reasons. And people will, again, likely, because this is the first time I've started to get a bit of negativity online, will likely come for me in terms of players that have played well this season, and this is now my opportunity to strike. I'll give you an example. The first one I'm going to say is Austin Trusty coming in. But I'll go through the team, and I genuinely think you could take any player out of that lineup from Sunday and you'd be justified. I just think it deserves it. I just think it needs a fresh face or two. We haven't got a lot of squad depth, which I think is a big concern. But I think you can certainly bring some players in and not lose that quality. So my lineup for Saturday is Wes in goal. I'm going Anel, who needs to improve, by the way. A lot of us would have put him down as our best defender going into this season. I don't think he's shown enough. But I'm sticking with Anel because I don't think Basham gives me enough confidence at this level to come in, and some may disagree. I'm going with Egan in the middle, purely because I don't think we've got the strength in depth to replace him. I don't think he's been playing very well, but he needs a real performance here to get him back to where we believe he can be. And I'm putting Austin Trusty in for Jack Robinson, and that's harsh on Robbo, and I acknowledge that. And a lot of people won't agree with this. I think it's more trying to do something different without dropping the quality significantly. So you all are aware I don't particularly rate Jack Robinson as a Premier League footballer. What I have to concede is he's played very well this season. I just think in a few games you've seen, there's a chance he's starting to slip in terms of the odd mistake, which will get punished at this level. And I think he was as equally atrocious as the entire team was against Newcastle. So he comes out and Trusty gets a chance, and Trusty has to take this chance and really impress. I'm desperate for George Baldock to be fit at right wing back. I think Bogle's looked very shaky. We always knew we were a little bit susceptible defensively, and you need to be able to defend at this level. Listen, he's played very well in the Premier League in times gone by, so I'm not saying he can't be a successful part of this team, but I think you need to be a defender first and foremost when you're playing in this position. So I'm hoping that Georgie Baldock is back, and I'm playing Luke Thomas, our strongest fit left wing back on the left. And I actually think this 5 in defence is our strongest defence on paper. I think that may change when Reece Norrington-Davies returns to fitness, but obviously it'll take some time to get back up to the required level. In midfield, this is where it starts to get tricky, because we're away from home, do you go a little bit more protective and have Norwood in for McAtee? I think that's the big question, because I'm playing Vinny Souza and I'm playing Gus Hamer, and it's just whether you want to be more attack-minded with McAtee or whether you want to be a bit more focused on protection through Norwood. And I'm going to start with Norwood. And I think McAtee's a much better player, but he gives us the 2 different players. I'm going to go in Norwood because I'm going to shore us up defensively, and McAtee's there off the bench as an attacking option should we need a goal at any stage, or should we even want to change it up a bit with the front 2, which will be, for me, a returning Ollie McBurney, who I think we've missed more than a lot of us would like to admit, because he's been a controversial figure for us. But this season he's been fantastic whenever he's played. Nobody can say any other, I don't think. And Cameron Archer, who I think it was proven at the weekend, he's much better with a partner alongside him. I don't think we did him any favours lumping high balls up to him when he's 5'10", and the rest of the defenders they were up against, who were all not only quality footballers in Shah and Botman. We need to give him half a chance by playing it to feet or something for him to run onto rather than hold the ball up, please. So Archer and McBurney up top. I think McAtee being on the bench gives us the option to, heaven forbid, if we're winning, maybe even bring Archer off later in the game and McAtee on, and McAtee drops a little bit deeper. So we're a little bit more protected again, a bit more defensive minded and trying to hold on to a lead potentially. We've got to be smarter about these things. That's my team. And, it's not necessarily the most positive mentality, but we need a result here. We need a result. It's not just, I hope we get a result and anything we get is a bonus. It's a really tough place to go. So that's my team, and my score prediction. I'm going 1-0 Blades. And it's probably more with heart over head, but I think it could go either way this game. We could concede early, and that's it. Heads down, backs against the wall, and Eki's no longer the manager come the end of the game, because I think that will happen if we have a heavy loss. But it could also be done the Blades way, and we could prove to be difficult to play against again. And God forbid we nick a result. And if that happens, then fair play to Eki and he goes again. That's, of course, what I'm hoping is happening. But who knows? We dust ourselves down again. I'm just about, well, I'm not over it. To say I'm over it is a lie, but I'm trying my best. And once this game kicks off, Sunday will be a distant memory, and it'll all be about Saturday. So I think that's where we turn our attention now. We do everything we can to get a result at West Ham, and we've got to be positive. We've got to be positive as a team, as a club, as a fan base. Get behind them. I think we will. Particularly our away support is absolutely superb. So I've no danger that we won't be getting on players' backs or anything like that. So to say I'm confident is not true, but I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that we've a chance of getting a result. So Let me know what you think. Let me know whether you think we've half a chance of getting something. We've got to try and be positive where we can. It's make or break this for me, for Eki. And I'd love to see him get a result. Despite what everybody thinks, I think, I want the best for Sheffield United. If I'm calling for Eki's head and Wilder in, or whatever my opinion is, one, it don't matter. It's one person's opinion. And two, the only reason I want it is because I think it improves our chances of progressing as a club. This may be a newsflash to some. I might be wrong. I know it's difficult to comprehend, but Hecky may well be the man for this club. And I hope that he can make me look daft and go to West Ham, win 2-0, 1-0, 0.5, whatever we need to do to get some points on the board and continue on the progress that he started, because he has gone well. And we've just been very unlucky. And a lot of people are right that one bad result, but it's not. With 1 point in 6. So the 5 games leading up, we were unlucky but unsuccessful. And then it's an absolutely abomination of a performance and a result. So there is reason to be concerned. But the beauty of it is we get the chance to go again. And let me know what you think in terms of your score predictions. Can we do it? Can Eki save himself and start pulling us out of the mess that we're in at the minute? I think the first 11 is good enough. So fingers crossed we can get there. Thank you to everybody that has voted so far for us in the Football Content Awards. We have been nominated for Best New Content Creator, which is absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable, Jeff, you might say.
Hi, it's Cammy Chris Kamara. As some of you know already, Jim Smith, who is the man behind the podcast, The Blades Ramble, he's a pal of mine, and he's been nominated for an award. Hey, well done, Jimbo, at the Football Content Awards. If you would like to vote for Jim and his weekly ramblings, vote now for the Blades Ramble in the Best New Content Creator category. Do it now!
That is madness. Thank you to Cammy for doing that. He is, of course, a huge friend of the channel, and I really appreciate the support that he gives, because obviously that gets a lot more eyes on it than I could ever get. But also to you guys who have voted for me, supported us, subscribed, stuck with us through my good takes and my terrible takes, which I have at times. Yeah, I appreciate it. If you could spread the word as best you can, if you believe we should be in with a shout at this award, but just to be nominated and to be able to call ourselves Best New Content Creator finalist on a national basis is unbelievable. So thanks again for your support. Very much appreciated. If we can sort of move away from the negative comments. Listen, what I don't want people to think is I don't want anybody disagreeing with me. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Let's just keep it friendly, because we're not about that. No swearing, no stuff like that in the chat if you can help it. We want to be as inclusive as we can, and that includes people of all ages, kids coming up as well, and being able to watch this content, because that's, they're going to be the ones that are doing this in 20 years' time, aren't they? And probably having a better take than I do. So for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Come on. We need this. Up the Blades. Ramble